Okay, the FIFA 2022 draw just happened, and after cucking us for about half an hour, they finally got to the balls. As in, they finally got to drawing. And while I'm sure you're tired of hearing this, but let's explain a little bit of how the World Cup works for those that don't know. So basically, all the qualified teams, although not all of them have qualified yet, we still have the playoffs that happening in June, have been split into 4 pots depending on the ranking from FIFA. So pot 1 has the host nation, which this year is Qatar, as well as Belgium, Brazil, France, Argentina, England, Spain, and Portugal. And so basically, these teams are selected from each pot one by one and put into groups. And after half an hour of selecting, we finally got the groups. But before we get into them, let's go a little bit over the rules. So, the 32 teams that qualified, although not all of them are qualified yet, are split into 4 pots, which pot 1 containing the host nation and the 7 top-ranked FIFA teams, and pot 2, 3, and 4 are based on their rank as well. So for the first rule is that no 2 teams from the same confederation can play for each in the same group. So for example, Brazil can't be in a group with Uruguay or Peru. The only exception to this would be Europe, because they have 13 teams, those greedy bastards. There are going to be groups that have multiple teams from Europe. I believe the number was 5 from 8. We'll have 2 teams from Europe, and each pot is selected at random. Well, random, but knowing FIFA, it's probably rigged anyways. But let's see where everyone left off, shall we? So Group A has the host nation Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. So this seems to be a pretty easy group for the Netherlands. They should be able to go through. And for number 2, I actually don't know a lot about Qatar that much, so even though they're host, I don't believe they're going to do that well. So it's either between Ecuador and Senegal, and I'm going to go for either one. Either one is fine. I think my vote is for Ecuador. Group B, which has got England, Iran, the US, and the winner between Ukraine, Scotland, and Wales. So Wales has to go against either Ukraine and Scotland, and whoever wins gets put into Group B. But most likely it's going to be either Ukraine or Wales. I think Wales is going to go through. So it's going to be an interesting group. England, Iran, US, and Wales. So I hope the US loses, but I don't know. I think England should be going through pretty easily. And I'm going to go for Wales, just so I hope the US doesn't even get out the group stage. Group C, with eventual winners Mexico. So they have Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Not the easiest group for Mexico to go in. Argentina is the clear favorite there. But it's going to go down between Mexico and Poland. And the rest of the groups are France, Denmark, Tunisia, the winner between Paraguay, Australia, the United Arab Emirates. Group E, Spain, Costa Rica, or New Zealand, Germany, Japan. Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. Group G, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. Quickly saying who I think is going to go through. Like I said, Netherlands, Ecuador. B, England, and I say Wales, hopefully. Group C, Argentina and Mexico. Group D, France, Denmark. Group E, Spain, Germany. Group F, Belgium, and Canada. I'm going to go with Canada. Group G, Brazil, Switzerland. And Group H, Portugal, Uruguay. That's who I think is going to go through. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%. And I think eventual winner will be Mexico. Mexico all the way. I'm going to put my life savings on Mexico. I think you should too. This is definitely not financial advice. Don't listen to me. And unless an upset happens, the most likely thing to happen is that Mexico is going to go second. And France will be first, meaning that if Mexico does go to the round of 16, their first opponent will be France. So hooray for that. Hopefully Denmark and Tunisia break every French player's legs, especially Mbappe's. that terrifies me. But no, I can't even say anything optimistic. We are definitely not gonna win this, and we're gonna lose terribly to France. But I will be there supporting them all the way when it happens. But what about you guys? What do you think? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna go through? And who do you think is gonna be a dark horse? I think well, not obviously not U.S. They're not gonna be a dark horse. Screw them. But honestly, the only teams I'm really, rooting for is Mexico, obviously. But I want to see how far Canada can go through, because even though they did beat us for qualifications, it's still exciting to see a different team in the World Cup. It's obviously not going to be Italy. They're not going to win. Although I am excited. How is it going to work next year when it's co-hosted by Canada, Mexico, US? Is there going to be 3 hosts? Is Group A, B, and C just going to be easy, passes through? But then you got to remember that they're also adding more teams. I have no idea how it's going to work next year. But, next World Cup. But, hopefully I'm alive by then and I'll make a video about it. Probably won't. I'll probably be dead or homeless. I mean, heck, I might go into homelessness next week. See ya.